fall.
That's Bonny Light Horseman from their new double album, Keep Me on Your Mind, See You Free. It's the third album from this indie supergroup made up of Anaïs Mitchell, Eric D. Johnson of the Fruit Bats, and Josh Kaufman. Here's Anais and eventually Josh to tell us how three such disparate voices found each other.
Eric lives in Los Angeles. And Josh and I met when we both lived in Brooklyn, New York. And then I moved back to Vermont and Josh moved with his family to upstate. So he lives in Kingston.
Gotcha. Okay. So this Bonny Light Horseman project, was it always going to be, this is your third album together now. Was that the plan originally, or was it originally a one-off thing?
Man, I don't know that we knew what we were doing. It was like, it kind of was scratching an itch for all of us in different ways. And when we started doing it, yeah, it had sort of a just like organic flow. Oh, I sound like a hippie, but it just felt like it was right. Easy. Yeah, to make music with each other. Our first record was a lot of like reimaginings of traditional text from traditional music, and
right.
That was a cool way to get to know each other, because it was like, it wasn't like we were coming up with things from scratch. We were like, we were able to lean on the material, the old songs. And we made this recording in Berlin at an artist residency. And I think we didn't even know what we had. Like, we came home with it and thought, well, that was fun. You know, what was that? And then when we listened back, we thought, like, this feels like an album and we want to put it out. And then after that, it felt like, this is, we felt like we were connecting with people and also with each other, and didn't want to stop. And so we made another one. It came out in 22, and then we just put out this new one, double record.
So you're right into it. So I read that you kind of wrote this thing over the course of 5 months last year. Does that mean you were together for 5 months? Were you kind of doing it on your own and doing it? How do you work together when you write?
Yeah, we were not together the whole time, obviously, because we live in different places, but we tend to like to get together in a room. Like, some people will fly around files, and yeah, we like to get together. Even in the pandemic, we would get together and kind of go in a pod, you know, not go to restaurants, and you'd be sort of on a team together and work. And so we got together once or twice, I want to say, and we all co-write all the songs. So we just, you know, one of us will bring a sketch or an idea, and then we'll all sort of get in on it. It's kind of, and some stuff doesn't even come from a sketch that one of us brings, but is more like just all of us in the sandbox together. Hi, Josh.
So let's get right to the business of the pub, because that's pretty cool. How did that happen? Was it also spontaneous? I think I read that it was kind of like that, but elaborate, please.
Yeah. Do you want this one, Josh, or should I do it?
I feel like the initial connection to Joe is through you, so maybe it feels more authentic coming from you.
Okay, so yeah, and I just was telling Marty about how our first record we made partially in Berlin at this artist residency, and that it almost felt like a field recording. Like, we didn't even really know what we had, and we kind of brought the files home and then listened back. And I think we were kind of like excited to go far from home again to work on songs. And we happened to be playing a couple of big orchestra shows in Ireland. We played the Sounds from a Safe Harbor Fest in Cork, and then we played in Dublin with the symphony orchestra. And there was 4 days off in between. And we thought maybe we'll try to record some stuff. And we looked at studios, and nothing really felt that vibey. And then I had randomly been connected with Joe O'Leary, who owns the Levis Corner House where we recorded in Ballydahab in West Cork. I was doing a Talk House interview with him and Rosie Plain, our mutual friend. And she had put us together because both Joe and I had an experience of living kind of a sort of public life, and then going back to our home place. For me, back to Vermont, and for Joe, to this pub, which he took over as his family pub, and he took it over and really like deliberately set out to make it just an incredible community gathering space, and it sort of has its own legend. So anyway, we had these 4 days off, and I mentioned the pub, and Josh really jumped on it. Josh produces our albums, and so Josh was the one that was looking into studios and not really feeling it. And then when we hit upon the idea of this pub, Josh was like, "Hell yeah, let's do this!" And so we did. We set up in there for 3 days, and then we invited a small audience on the evening of the third day, and like 95% of what we used is from that night with the audience.
Very cool. So yeah, Josh, some pressure on you to make this work, right?
Oh, I mean, I feel like it didn't feel like any tight amount of pressure. I mean, like I think that honestly the sort of casual recording situation is what I like. I think I feel more pressure in like a more formal environment. So this was perfect. And I think for us as well, like as a band, when we can sit around in close proximity to each other, and not have to wear headphones, and everything is sort of like in everybody's mic, so your mistakes are also someone else's mistakes and the other way around. It feels like that's kind of where our roots are in both how we record and kind of just how we work. It all happens together at the same time. So, so in that sense, it was perfect for us. Really small room. We didn't have the option to even be, more than a couple feet away from each other. So that was great. And I hear my little ones. Hopefully they'll stay out of the door. So it worked out great. And yeah, like Anais was saying, it did feel like maybe it's too soon on a third record to have it be like a coming home to our roots sort of story, but it did feel closer to the first record in terms of the being abroad for us, being over the Atlantic in a different place, and and experiencing this new place together was like kind of like it's a good little glue, right? The experience of of something new together is like a good glue for everybody, spiritually and creatively. So yeah.
Well, the way you explain the recording, it sounds like it's almost like music from Big Pink, but in a pub instead of in the house.
Instead of a basement.
You guys
yeah.
all together, sitting very close together and kind of making it up as you go along.
Yeah. No John Simon, but yeah, everything else. Yeah.
Right.
No
so there's 20 songs here. Was it always going to be a double album, or when did you realize that this was going to be what it is?
We just kind of kept recording, right, Anais? I mean, I don't think we set out going, oh, we're going to make a double record. It was sort of like after we had recorded everything.
Yeah, every record we've made, we ended up back at this one studio in Woodstock, upstate New York, called Dreamland. And same was true this time. Like we took the stuff from, and I remember you saying, Josh, like, if we got a couple tracks from the pub, that would be fun. That would be great, And so we got more than we thought we would from that. And then between the time that we were in Ireland and the time we were in New York, I don't know, life happened and a bunch more songs happened, and we just wanted them all to be part of the family. So,
they felt like they all kind of went together, and actually, in some ways, just made the whole pot a little deeper too. Like it was, it was good to have for songs to have like brother and sister songs on the record, and like and it kind of felt like a big mess, and it was fun to have more, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I see you released a video for Old Dutch. Is that the pub that you recorded in the video?
I got a feeling that I couldn't share. I've got a feeling that I couldn't share.
Yeah. That's
That's the
Joe's
actual
place.
recording. I mean, that's us tracking that song.
Yeah, that's
Ah.
us tracking that song. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's those are that's what it was like in that little space with like a couple blankets for a drum booth, and we had I think we had 9 working channels this time, and a beautiful like community around that pub, like Anais was describing, and so we were really lucky to have those people there. I really think that they feel like the producers in that moment, because they really made everybody kind of like jump up a little bit on the like really perform their moments to get it across, because nobody had heard these songs yet. We were kind of learning them ourselves. So it does sort of capture like a I don't know, like almost like a naive energy about the songs, like it's not really like you're just kind of trusting it.
Right.
Like you do at a gig if you're lucky, if the gig's going well.
It was also very different from a gig. Like it was very vulnerable and sort of heart poundy, I felt in the moment to be there, but also it wasn't, and you can see in that video, like it wasn't front facing. It's not like we were looking at the audience. We were kind of looking at each other and they were all around us. Like they were holding the space, just like witnessing it. And I remember one time, like in the middle of it, just saying to myself, I gotta not worry what my face is doing. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe on stage you might think like, oh, I don't need my face to not do a weird thing, but I was like, but that's not what this is about. We actually need to let your face do whatever it has to do and be like go into the rabbit hole. I just also want to shout out Bella Blasco, our recording engineer, who brought like a bunch of gear and managed to capture all those sounds. Like she's in that video too.
Right.
You can see her.
Oh, cool. So did you video the whole thing as well? Because that's just another level of stress that you can add to yourself.
It was sort of like it was Donal, and he has a he's the host of a TV show in Ireland, and they were there, right, Anais? This is what was happening. Am I right about this?
Right, they were capturing footage to maybe use in a piece that they were doing on us, but I don't think they used it. And then they were like, "Here, do you guys want this?" But I honestly forgot. I forgot they were recording. It wasn't. Yeah,
I didn't remember it either. I didn't remember that. I mean, I remember that he was there because I saw him after the gig and stuff like that, and he seemed psyched and everything. But I didn't think that like, oh, we have a bunch of usable footage from this event. I didn't really think of it that way, which is nice. It's like I think it's like real like verite kind of thing, in that sense. So, and we're lucky that we were able to use it. Everyone was cool about it, and it does make a really nice document, I think, for people to see. We always talk about like how like oh yeah, it was like we play in the same room and we don't use headphones, stuff like that. I think it's hard for people to like really either buy it or like visualize it. And it's nice to see this is what's happening. It's just this is what it is. It's kind of simple in that sense. So.
And there's a few tracks where it sounds like there's horns, maybe a trumpet or a trombone or a clarinet. Were those added later?
And your legs all the time.
Yeah, tenor saxophone. That was added after, and like, there's I'm trying to think.
There's a song called "Your Arms." It sounds like a clarinet. I don't know if it is or not.
Yeah, it's a tenor saxophone. So so Your Arms was like, so we added some stuff to those recordings. I think the only one we didn't add anything to is a song called "Rock the Cradle." The rest, and actually, I think Oh no, yeah, I think that's it. Actually, everything else has like a little, splash of something else that, like Anais was saying. We finished these records at this place in upstate New York called Dreamland,
Right.
and it is like a really kind of happy place for us, a very creatively full place for us to work. And so we brought those tracks back there, in addition to some new ones that we had written in the interim, and we added to them. So, excuse me.
Sure. Yep. Now I think there's a quote in the press that I got that the songs are kind of an ode to the blessed mess of our humanity. If that's the case, can you elaborate on that as well, please?
I love that someone said that. That was not one of us. Or
Okay,
because
you never know.
I know. It's a beautiful phrase, and
It is.
I almost think it's related to what we were talking about with it being a double record and wanting all the songs to live together. It's like Josh was saying, they're like brothers and sisters in it. Also, it's like they're in context, that there's like a lot of different emotions and life stages and things going on the record. There's like falling in love, and there's like domestic like boredom, and there's wrestling with mortality, and there's all kinds. There's just like a journey, and it's almost like you need one to put the other in context. Like you need mortality to put falling in love in context. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And one track I was hoping to
right.
touch on was When I Was Younger, because it's kind of a highlight, I think. That's you and Eric singing together on that, is it?
When I was younger, I told you I love you. When I was younger, I said things like that. Said I would hold you and love you forever. Love you forever and never look back.
Yeah, that's right. That's like that the sentiment of that song is really, there's a whole genre of trad songs that are about that. That's what I would call domestic boredom or whatever. Like,
Right.
A single girl, married girl, or wish I was a single girl again. It was all this like, it was so much better before, we had kids and whatever. And I think we wanted to write a song in that genre. And we also wanted it to be a duet and wanted to encompass our experiences. I don't know. I have kids. I have rocked a cradle, or, metaphorically. Eric doesn't have kids, so his verse doesn't have kids in it, but it's still very real for him. We're all growing older. And then it felt so like deep to be able to come together and to sing in like harmony, the final stanza, like as if we're like back to back at a, you know what I mean? Just these two characters. A lot of the songs on this record felt like their conversation, and that one is also like there are literally more kind of duets between Eric and I vocally on this record, I think, than on other ones. And the other thing I would say is like also that Josh's guitar solo on that song, we didn't record that. Like the whole thing is live from Levis, but we overdubbed that guitar because you were playing piano at the pub. Mm-hmm. And so
that's right.
The guitar was just like, when words are not sufficient, the guitar takes over. And that's what that solo is.
Yeah. Eric says that's my verse, which I think feels kind of appropriate some days.
Right. So the record's out on Friday, and then are you touring? Are you doing gigs? What's the plan going forward here?
Yeah, we are going to be a working live band once again. We'll be out playing. We have our Anais, do you know, are there any dates that have not been announced that we're not supposed to talk about, or is it kind of?
You got to be careful.
I know. I don't know what we're supposed to say or not say.
So I'll just say, I think
we're coming there. We're gonna get there. We're coming at some point.
All right.
Right.
We'll make it there. We'll make it there eventually. But yeah, we have like a this sort of like early summer tour, and we have
Right.
some dotted stuff throughout the summer and some stuff in the fall and early winter, and then into next year and everything. So it's a little sprawly, which is how we like it, and I think it'll be
Kind of like the record. Just
kind of like the record, all over the place, never ending. Yeah. It'll be nice to get out and play. We have JT Bates, our like incredible poet drummer, playing with us, and Cameron Ralston, who did a lot of touring for Rolling Golden Holy, which is our second record, the one before this. He did a lot of touring for that album with us, and we were really lucky and grateful to have him join us in the studio as well. He brought so much, like on, when I was younger, that beautiful bass part that comes in, under the rolling piano stuff, that's Cam. So he'll be joining us as well on tour. It'll be a celebration.
I'm so excited.
Yay.
I've been like trying to relearn the songs. There's so many of them, and
we were a lot of words to learn. Remember?
Yeah. But I'm so excited to share them live. I just feel really psyched.